What's up, guys? Decided to do something random again that I don't normally do. Those who know me knows I'm a big fan of the Karate Kid and the Cobra Kai series. Hell, I actually even like the reboot. Granted, it's not in the same universe as, well, what you would call the Miyagi-verse. But I still appreciated it because, well, I did martial arts for several years and I mostly did Tianjin Pai Kung Fu. So it was cool to see a Kung Fu version of the Karate Kid, but aside from that, that's still not genuine Karate Kid. What some people don't realize is karate is actually Japanese Kung Fu. Anyways, aside from all that, I've watched all, most people my age, we grew up watching the Karate Kid from the first movie, second movie, third movie to the next Karate Kid, the fourth one with Hilary Swank and all that. And then, of course, I used to watch the cartoons and everything too as a kid. But, heck, I actually remember as a kid they had a toy set that came out and it was of the arena. And I had the referee guy. I didn't actually have, like the Karate Kid and stuff. I just had the referee guy at the time. But Pat something, I can't remember his real last name. But, watching the series, turn the TV down. I'm watching it like again. It's like my third or fourth time around. But, something that I've noticed that Mr. Miyagi always taught in the movies was about balance. That was one of the core things. Was everything was about balance. And in the show, I'm slowly seeing that fruition happening. Because if you notice, like William Zabka's character, Johnny Lawrence, Cobra Kai's all offense, where Miyagi-Do, as far as we knew to a certain point, was all defense. So I knew at some point because when you think about it, Mr. Miyagi, even in the first movie, all the way through to the last with Hilary Swank, Julie Pierce, I think her name was, he not just his students, but also his opponents, he taught them all something. And some of them they learned right away. Other ones, it took some time for it to start clicking in. And I think, that's why you're seeing somewhat of a change even in Sensei Lawrence's character. But, given what, we can say we've watched up till this point, in the series up through season 4 right now, most people have already touched on the first 3 seasons in this season. I'm just kind of going overall, where I see the series going. It's just my own little fan theory. Well, stemming from this season, there's a moment in there. We'll touch on this part here because, one of the common themes that we keep seeing coming up in the series is, all the different characters from the different movies are coming up. And there's a couple characters. Well, there's a few characters that we're still waiting on. I mean, seeing Chosen show up again at the end of season 4. If you haven't watched it, sorry, there's spoilers in this, but that really made my day because what we learned in, I think it was season 3 when Larusso went over to Okinawa and saw that the old village was turned into pretty much a shopping center. Every time one of the original characters come in, I kind of get a little, little sensitive because it's always good to remember back to the original movies, all that stuff, and it's like then and now type thing. But if you go back to the second movie, Chosen was obviously taught some of the more offensive techniques for Miyagi-Do. Miyagi was trying to focus more on the defensive and peaceful side of the martial art, but I think he also recognized that Daniel LaRusso was a bit too much of a hothead, so he didn't want him to learn some of these things. You know, he was still learning balance in his own life and control. And so, where Chosen was kind of, you know, if you think about it, Chosen was like the Okinawan equivalent to the Karate Kid himself, to LaRusso. I mean, if you think about it, if LaRusso was trained much the same way, he probably would have came out just as cocky. You know, even though there was a lot of respect and honor and tradition going on in that movie. You know, a lot of elements that I'm not touching on. But anyways, that's where I think Chosen coming in is going to help. Because to a degree, Chosen on his situation from his dad was taught not just the offensive side, more focus of the offensive, but he still learned the defensive aspect of Miyagi-Do. He learned more than LaRusso did. And my thought is him coming into the picture is going to help Sensei Lawrence and Sensei LaRusso be able to not necessarily just find their common ground as friends, but within the martial arts, to be able to find that blend, the applications. One of the things I also noticed in season 4 is when not Sensei Kreese, but Terry, Sensei Terry, Terrence. Anyways, Kreese's partner, he made a comment where, you know, about opening other schools, and was asked how he's going to run them, and he makes the comment he knows a few guys. You know, he can call a couple guys. I want to remind you that earlier in the series, I believe it was I want to say season 2. It might have been early season 3. I think it was season 2 when they brought back some of the other Cobra Kai teammates. And there's one in particular, Dutch, that wasn't there. You know, they were talking about him being in jail and getting out soon, that type of thing. I think the couple people that is going to get called will be Dutch and Mike Barnes, and we might see them coming in here in season 5. It's just my own theory, but those would be the two that would come help run the schools and teach more students. So I think we're going to see that coming about. There's something that we kept seeing in this season. Kreese started reflect, not just Johnny Lawrence, where Mr. Miyagi stepped in and helped him out from the ending of the first movie, when Kreese was kind of getting on his ass for losing and being weak and all that. I noticed that Sensei Kreese reflected on that same moment a lot too, and not just that moment, but also on the moment where he was, you know, telling Lawrence to sweep the leg. Anyways, from his experience with Mr. Miyagi there in the parking lot, and then you start seeing some of the other memories he's had where he was with Sensei Terry. Sorry, I can't remember his last name off the top of my head right at the moment, because this is just, you know, I'm just that kind of person right now. Not necessarily right now, but I don't do well with remembering names all the time. But anyways, you see a lot of reference to not just when they were in Vietnam together, but you're also seeing their interactions together when they were in the third movie. And I think some of Mr. Miyagi's teachings is starting to seep through. Like Mr. Miyagi just is kind of how, in a loose way, he touched on Sensei Lawrence's life. He's done the same thing on Sensei Kreese. And I think Sensei Kreese is starting to kind of realize what the sub-messaging was to the people he taught. And I think the no mercy thing is starting to kind of get to him a little bit too, because as much as he tells people no mercy, he shows a lot of mercy to, like Peyton List's character. Why am I struggling to remember names all of a sudden? But I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna get on my tablet because my brain's not all here today, and I've been running on a weird sleep schedule. Pass out at like 5 or 6, sometimes 7. Wake up 2 o'clock in the morning, and right now it's 3 o'clock in the in the afternoon. But no, Sensei Kreese is showing a lot of interest in Peyton List's character, like he did with Sensei Lawrence. See, he teaches no mercy, but he's showed a lot of mercy towards Sensei Lawrence. He's showing mercy to her character. Close that out. Anyways. Tory, that's her name. She's kind of the female version of Sensei Lawrence. But there's a twist where that one's concerned that I'm thinking is going to happen. Because we're still waiting for other previous characters from the original movies to either make an appearance or become a mainstay within the series. And I think Kreese, obviously he'll get his butt out of jail type thing and all. Eventually he has to prove his whole thing, but he's gonna, obviously kind of legally fight his way out. I think Stingray's gonna kind of do what Hawk did not just Hawk, but even Robby did when it came to, when Hawk stole the medal of Mr. Miyagi's, and Miguel got it, went to return it, and then Robby took credit for it. I think you're going to see something similar in that nature with where Kreese is concerned. Just instead of, I think the guilt, he's going to be feeling a lot of guilt of what's going on. And then same thing with Stingray. He's going to feel guilt in betraying Sensei Kreese as well at some point, because it's going to end up translating to stabbing Cobra Kai in the back as a whole. So we'll just see kind of where that's going. That's just loose theory in my mind. The primary thing for me, though, is I think we're going to see the return of Dutch and Mike Barnes here this next season. And then I also think, on the little side note twist, if you go back to I want to say it was first season, if not second season. Anyways, if you go back to when Tory Nichols and Miguel first are introduced to each other, I want to say it was second season. But they had the little rollabout, new student. She comes into face. She spars up a little bit and ends up rolling with Miguel and ends shows that she can hold her own, which shows she had some sort of previous experience. Well, I think we're going to see the return of Hilary Swank, Julie Pierce, because oddly enough, I have a feeling that the reason why we haven't met Peyton List's, Tory Nichols' character's mom yet, we've met her aunt, we haven't met her mom, and her mom's constantly referenced to. I have a feeling her mom is Julie Pierce, Hilary Swank's character from the next Karate Kid, or the fourth movie. The other character that might come into this into either the next season or the following season. It might be this next season, because I think they're really trying to blow the doors open on this to get it really rolling. And what was his name? Michael. I don't believe it's Michael Knight. So from the next Karate Kid, yeah, it was Michael Ironside, not Michael Knight. You had Colonel Dugan. See, that guy there, he was Cobra Kai also. And I believe when you see the pictures of John Kreese, and then you've got Terry, Terry. Why is his last name always slipped my head, and yet he was just a twisted, coked out dude from the 80s, basically. Here we go. Because I want to make sure I get these, at least get their names right for once. I just watched the movies and I love them. Anyways, when it comes to Terry, I think he's going to end up... I think the picture that you see of Terry, Sensei Kreese, and the third guy is Colonel Dugan, which is the sensei for Cobra Kai from the next Karate Kid. So I believe he's going to get brought back in, Michael Ironside. You'll see Mike Barnes, that character, come back. You'll see Dutch come back. If not, he'll make an appearance. Maybe be the guy, who knows? He could be a wild card in this situation, because he can end up doing what the other three did, Bobby and all them. Where they kind of, as they got older, they realized Cobra Kai was not very good, and it wasn't necessarily Cobra Kai itself. It was the sensei who got twisted, which was Kreese. And I think Terry did the same thing, got just as twisted, and if not even worse. But no, I think out of theory, I think this next season, we're probably gonna see the return of Mike Barnes. Well, that's almost a guarantee. And I got a feeling we may even see the return of Michael Ironside as Colonel Dugan. And a chance that we'll see the return of Dutch. The little twist in my theory is that, I think Hilary Swank's character, Julie Pierce, is actually Tory Nichols' mom. And that's why we haven't seen her yet. I think that's her mom. Because obviously she knows something, the character, Peyton List's character, Tory, knew how to defend herself to some degree. She knew some level of martial arts. And I think she learned that from her mom. So we'll see where season 5, and who knows, maybe see where season 6 goes. But I get a feeling what's going to end up happening is you're going to see what we're seeing now. You're going to see the actual blending of Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do. Who knows, maybe it ended up being Miyagi Kai, which is kind of cool. But we're already seeing it. And I think eventually we're going to start seeing even Sensei Kreese kind of go through an evolutionary change. We're starting to see that now, I think, here towards the end, with the season 4, towards the end of it, not just because of what happened at the end with the little backstab move, but he's starting to, I think some cogs are starting to spin for him too, and I think we're going to eventually we're going to see the bad apples, obviously, with the ending of the series drop off, but I think we're going to finally see the successful blending of Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do. Because really, the Karate Kid, just the name Karate Kid, I think a lot of fans are in the same, kind of the same boat, you know, in the whole thing. That it wasn't just Danny LaRusso. The Karate Kid was Danny LaRusso, Johnny Lawrence, Chosen, Mike Barnes, Julie Pierce, Dutch. It was all of them. It wasn't just like it wasn't just LaRusso. You know, I think it was a piece of the Karate Kid is in all of them. When you look at the personality types and all that, you start, you know, you realize they've got a lot of them went through similar things. You know, just the Lawrence and LaRusso background, they had almost similar upbringing, but instead of one mom going and marrying a rich guy, which I got a feeling was to bring him closer to his dad, which I have a feeling Kreese is his dad. I think John Kreese is his dad, and that's why his mom married the dude where they did and moved where they did, was to be closer there, but she never had the backbone to say. I I think she kept it a secret. Big time, obviously. But no, I think we're gonna see a whole lot of really cool stuff here happen soon. Not just the blending of the two schools becoming a new school, but we're gonna see the return of some really cool characters again. And who knows, maybe I'll do another one of these. But hope you guys have a good day, and that's just my thoughts on Cobra Kai.